Hello, boys and girls. You're now watching Peter's WWE Raw Recap. And today's Raw is from Buffalo, New York. And I'm not going to say this was a bad show. I'm not going to say this is a good show. But I would definitely or a big show. But I would definitely say that I forfeited watching Green Bay versus Kansas City because I knew that was going to be a straight up beatdown to watch this live, and this is why you get a Peter's Raw recap. I said I wouldn't be doing these so much or even at all because I'd be watching Monday Night Football, but these last two matchups, it's just dumb. So I'm watching Raw, and for this show again, it wasn't. You can see they're trying, man. That's all I really say. They're really trying to make this like an epic show. Yeah, I mean, the ratings stink because for the most part, they've forgot a lot of the fundamentals of like doing wrestling shows. And the people that the workers that the people want to get behind, they're not getting behind them, nor are they even getting TV time. And then when someone does get a little bit of TV time, they're just fuck it up. They do something dumb, do something really dumb, like what happened today with King Barrett and Neville and Stardust. It's like clusterfuck. But then you get like at the end, just a knockdown, drag out brawl. And okay, I get it. It's crazy. It's all over the place. But it doesn't really fulfill anything. I mean, for me, I guess if you want to see that action, that's great. But does it advance anything? It doesn't advance anything. It just continues a feud. And then you get the storyline with Kane and Seth Rollins, and it's just like, my God. It's like a episode of Tales from the Crypt. That's exactly what it is. It's like Alfred Hitchcock presents some type shit. It's just wacky. But that's the E in WWE, the entertainment. This is Vince McMahon's vision. This is Kevin Dunn's visions. This is Stephanie McMahon's vision of what the WWE is, and it's like a variety show rather than a wrestling show right now. And they're just trying too hard, and you can definitely see it. And I'll say a show like this is better live, would have been better live than say watching on TV. Like this is definitely live entertainment type shit. But watching and here, I'm sitting back waiting for something to advance. And if nothing really advances, if you're just like still standing in one place after you done a bunch of crazy shit, then it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, you're just kind of left like, okay, well, that happened. It doesn't really leave nothing really left to desire. But let me go through this recap, right? And it's in Buffalo again. And we return to the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. It didn't open with a 12 to 15 minute promo segment by Seth Rollins or Triple H. I think this is the second straight week. I said like that they would do it in rotations or something. Like every 6 weeks they would just start off with like a match. And this one they did. They did it again. They did it back-to-back weeks where it just started off. And maybe, we can all, I guess it's wishful thinking that we can start off with just straight-up matches. Okay, we get like a John Cena promo, but he's basically calling out someone to challenge him. And next thing you know, it's the trombone. Burr, burr, burr. I don't know. You could say it once, you could say it a million times. The New Day rocks. They really do. What they're pulling off is something that's pretty unprecedented in terms of just keeping the crowd interested. And it doesn't even have to be in the ring. I mean, back to the days of like Stone Cold and The Rock. You know, those guys just would entertain. They didn't even really have to wrestle. You could just listen to them talk or just do shit. And, you know, them in the ring was icing on the cake. But for the most part, if you just went out and just entertained without throwing a single punch and you win the crowd over, you got yourself a fucking gimmick, straight up. And this is the New Day, right? And they come out basically. But that trombone, man, with the John Cena theme, fucking brilliant. It's so brilliant. And even though these guys are heels and they get heel heat, man, you can hear the crowd just basically like sitting on everything and everything they say, everything they do. And plus that trombone as a fucking gimmick, like you can't beat that shit. But anyway, they come down and they cut a promo on John Cena on how they're going to be the U.S. champions. And they do these sort of things where it's like, we're going to be like Scrooge McDuck because we're going to be swimming in the gold. And it was like, oh yeah, okay, by the way, there's DuckTales reference. It's just whatever. I can sing their praises all day, but I'm going to keep going with this recap. They do the rock, paper, scissors. Come to find out it's Xavier Wood. And all I can think is, that's awesome. Because Xavier Wood is a good worker. You look at him, and he's been almost relegated as a valet to a certain extent. And whenever he's in the tag team fight, when Kofi's not in it, they probably lose. But the guy's a good worker. He has a good physique. And he gave one hell of a match to John Cena. But one thing about the U.S. Open Challenge, and something that I've noticed, because he's going up against, because he's the heel ultimately in it. When you bring up a young talent, the crowd is just going to immediately get behind the young talent, whether it's Neville, whether it's Sandow, whether it's Cesaro, whether it's Zayn, whether it's a whole host of people that's gone out there for the U.S. Open Challenge. There are smaller guys, they're younger guys, and you know, maybe there's a bunch of marks in the arena, but they're rooting for who's ever in there with Cena. And he gets a lot of offense, which is very rare for just any of his big matches. But for some reason, the U.S. Open Challenge, he gets a lot of offense in. And he's as much of a heel. He's as much of a heel as the heel that he's going up against. His facial expressions, the way he sort of circles around and sort of like a snake. I mean, it's something to watch. And I don't know if I'm the only one that's picked up on this, but John Cena plays in the ring a heel. He's wearing black trunks and just the way that he takes on the match. But at the beginning of the match, Kofi Kingston and Big E are getting involved. And the referee throws him out. He even spins the fucking hands and throws him out. And they pursue with the match. And the match itself is a lot of John Cena offense. Woods gets a little bit of offense in. But right around the end, he pulls off Eat Defeat. And but he doesn't get the pin. I mean, multiple pins. And then when he finally gets put in the AA, the New Day run back out and creates the DQ, and then they start kicking a mud hole, stomping a mud hole, and John Cena and the Dudley Boys come out for the save, which results after the break into a 6-man tag. The Dudley Boys with John Cena versus the New Day, all 3 members. And so that kind of sucks that it ends in DQ. But again, we get our John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. I guess that's back. Hooray. I mean, I'm no Cena mark for this. There's a lot of people who actually despise John Cena. but they love the U.S. Open Challenge. You need to make up your fucking mind on how you feel about this guy. And it's not as if his work improves in these matches. It's just the talent that he works with. He has to step his game up. And you know what? He shows up to the party. That's all I say about that. But during the break, yeah, Kane, I guess, they come out of break. So Kane issues this 6-man tag. And the New Day win without having to go into a bunch of shit. Other than the fact that John Cena is hit with what they call collateral damage, where Devon, I think Big E is about to spear Devon, but he gets the fuck out the way of where John Cena is sitting on the apron, and here comes Big E. And he's done this move a million times. It never gets old because it looks so fucking dramatic. And it looks like it hurts like hell to both Big E and whoever the hell he gives it to. He gave it to John Cena, and John Cena was the fuck out. And which leads to the Dudley Boys trying to gang up on Kofi Kingston, but Xavier Woods, what is it? Yeah, Xavier Woods is holding down Bubba Ray's leg, and that distraction itself, Kofi hits the Trouble in Paradise for the win, and New Day win. Yes, I mean, again, Dudley Boys are gonna have to turn heel at some point, and the New Day are gonna have to be baby faces. It's just the crowd's just gonna get behind them because they're just too entertaining, and I hope they get in front of it. That's all I'm saying. I hope they get in front of the Dudley Boys turning on the New Day, like double turn. Because if you get yourself in a Batista situation, the Dudley Boys, if they get themselves in a Batista situation, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a waste of bringing them back. And that itself was a 36-minute segment. Here's the entertainment part. Here's the Tales of the Crypt. Here's the fucking, Hitchcock Presents portion of the show, where Triple H and Stephanie has hired HR. They brought someone from HR, Ashley, to evaluate Kane, because someone has sent in an anonymous complaint about his how he's been at the job. So Seth comes in. He's being a jerk. He's trying to play like he doesn't know who it is, but he's like, "How dare someone, do that? You've been awesome working." Just playing the role. But that's part one of the Kane evaluation segments. And then you get Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns in the back, basically game planning on the Wyatts, and then Orton shows up, blah, blah, blah. Big Show versus Job Henry. He picks up he picks up Mark Henry like 3 times, and Henry's screaming in fucking agony into a KO punch. Job Henry, the Hall of Job is what Mark Henry is. Okay, he's getting TV time, but for him to go from the, Hall of Pain to the Hall of Job, I don't see where that happened. I mean, around Survivor Series last year, shit went down where he just ended up just getting his ass whooped, and then he's just never been able to, in storyline, ever to get back to Hall of Pain form. It's depressing. Miz TV, which isn't much of a Miz TV, because the Divas Revolution basically took it over. He started it off. Becky Lynch got all feminist on him, and then took his mic and then threw it the fuck down the aisle. And then the Bellas show up, and they talk shit. Charlotte Flair cuts a fucking vanilla-ass promo. And then when they're about to get into it, Team Bella and Charlotte and Lynch, Paige shows up. And then Paige basically drops another pipe bomb. She basically recycles some of the things she says last week. And then there's a line where Nikki Bella's like, well, look at this bitch over here with friends like these. Who needs enemies? And then Paige, with the ultimate comeback, was like, well, with boyfriends like you two, who needs ambition? And then that's when the Bellas just go over to Paige. And then the rest of PCB go in, and then there's this big brawl. And PCB stands tall. Now, this is what I've said. Everyone's talking about a Paige heel turn, and maybe it is, but I see it more as turmoil within Team PCB. She hasn't struck anyone. All she's doing is talking shit, but they're still a unit, okay? Maybe she's being a little bit of an isolationist, but like with any circle of friends or any family, you have moments of conflict, and this is what this is. Until I see Paige straight knock the fuck out of Becky Lynch or just beat the living shit out of Charlotte Flair, I still haven't been convinced of a heel turn, okay? And I haven't been convinced that she's left PCB. So we get this we get another 6-man tag, 6-woman tag between Team PCB and Team Bella, which results basically in the Bella twins winning. This match was actually put together by Kane, and all I could think was, well, what the fuck happened to the HR evaluation? Yeah, And then I think Michael Cole mentions it a little bit later down, but I was like, it's too late, bro. It's too fucking late. You guys are putting a fucking cart in front of the horse when trying to get shit accomplished. Now, this motherfucker is being evaluated, and he's still setting matches. Shouldn't he be like in an office and, either Triple H or Stephanie McMahon can do that job? God, we're idiots over here, aren't we? Well, anyway, again, there's a point in this match where there's accidental content where Nikki Bella pushes Charlotte, and it basically knocks Paige off the apron. And she gets all pissy and walks off. And then Natty comes out. It's like, what the fuck you doing? He's like, hey, fuck this, I'm out. She's thinking that Charlotte's hit her, right? So as Natty's like, well, fuck you, I'm going down to the ring to replace you. Paige follows behind Natty as she's about to get on the apron and just yanks her ass down. And that distraction led to the rack attack by Nikki Bella on to Charlotte Flair for the 1-2-3 victory. Bella wins. And again, I'm a Bella fan now. In spite of the marks, I swear to God, and it sounds petty, but like, you know what? I can't stand like venomous hate on any worker. I could get tired of somebody all day and just be like, fuck off. But like just pure hate and saying dumb shit, like them, they're not there for wrestling. I mean, I don't know. I just can't. I can't. So I feel like Nikki Bella has improved a lot. And her storyline is very much, if you listen to the New Day podcast earlier or you listen to it later, it's me and Nathan Newman every Monday, New Day podcast. Because my last name is Day, his first name is Newman. Last name is Newman. So New Day. Anyway, that's what I'm saying. I relate to Nikki Bella a lot in terms of how she stands out by not standing out. And that, this, that, and the other. But I am Team Bella all the way from here on out. We get a Big Show package with Brock promoting their MSG match. MSG meaning Madison Square Garden. I mean, you're not idiots, my bad. Another backstage. Here's part 2 of the segment of this average hit cop type shit. The evaluation of Kane show. Rollins is in the back with Ashley, and she's like, Ashley is HR. And he's like, yo, don't trust that motherfucker Kane. He's tripping, yo. And then Kane shows up with a big old gift. And come to find out, it's the head of the statue that was destroyed by Sting in the garbage truck. and it's kind of creepy. And it's like, yeah, it's your severed head, right? And then he makes a comment like, it's amazing what you can do with a shovel and a flashlight, kind of shit. So just kind of eerie shit, and that's basically the skit. He kind of gets creeped out by the head. He's like, he's like kind of ecstatic, but then he's like, oh, wait a minute, this is kind of fucked up. Primetime Players versus Harper and Strowman, the first time they're outing as a tag team. And lo and behold, my Sky Sports feed goes out. And then it comes back on, and he's basically choking out, Strowman is choking out Titus O'Neil. Now, when they walked out, when I saw the Primetime Players come out, and then I saw like Harper and Strowman, I go, I know how this is going to end. I've watched this show. I know how this is going to end. And sure enough, when the shit comes back on, you got old Titus hemmed up. And I think the Primetime Players are done. We get Neville versus Stardust. And I'm like, oh, is this going to be like the cap off to this feud? It needs at some point to end. Stardust isn't out there with Cosmic Wasteland, which is the Ascension. They're not out there. It's just a one-on-one thing. And they're doing a little bit of stuff, and it's short-lived until Barrett comes out. Now, since we last seen Barrett, he was taken out by Stardust. This was after SummerSlam. Took him out the day after SummerSlam. And we haven't seen him. He's been off TV. He comes back. Stardust pushes Neville into a bullhammer. And then Stardust catches a fucking bullhammer. And King Barrett stands, and all he says, I'm thinking he's about to talk some shit. He just says, all hail the return of the king. And I'm like, oh man, I was hoping he was going to get rid of that king gimmick. Looks like we're still stuck with the king gimmick. But like, you got both Neville and Stardust laid out in the ring, and they're attacked by one dude. Does this become like a triple threat thing now? Do Neville and Stardust join forces? We don't know. This is one of those things where it's like, okay, what kind of clusterfuck bullshit is this? And I'm sitting back going like, well, what? All right. Oh yeah, we come to the conclusion of the Ashley evaluation of Kane. And before she starts, Rollins comes out and he, interrupts before she even starts to talk. Shows a package of the Demon Kane. And then he's basically trying to expose him as this menace. And then comes to the ring to basically just talk some shit. And he's like, the carnage will be on your head if you say that he's qualified for this shit. Well, anyway. He even mentioned something about the Pope. I guess this was just a dumb last-second written thing in because the Pope came to America. He figured he had to put that in. Like, the Pope said, I'll go to heaven. I'm just like, ooh, get out of that. That's bad. Then Kane presents a package of Seth Rollins being a weasel. Ashley finally reads it and comes to find out he's capable of doing his job. Rollins gets pissed, attacks Kane. Well, he doesn't attack him at first. He kind of just walks up on him and just like gets in his face. But then he drops the belt, which is a ruse for Kane to pick up the belt to be put in a struggling. It was kind of awkward. This is an awkward shit all around. Pedigree. Put him in a pedigree. And then my feed kind of freezes up. But I kind of get the hint of what's going on. I'm like, all right, Seth is just whooping up on Kane. My feed comes back up, and he's beating the shit out of him with the chair. My feed goes out again, and I misses the fact that he stomps his leg through the chair, right? Because he just had a fucking meltdown. He berates Kane as he's down. Ambulance shows up, puts him on a stretcher, the whole nine, puts him in the fucking ambulance. As the ambulance is pulling out, it stops abruptly. And all I could think is, we've been here before. This was like a bad take backstage. But it wasn't, in fact. The back of the ambulance turns red. You see smoke. and the Demon Kane comes out. And I'm like, this motherfucker must have had all the clothes on under that to just sort of rip that fucker up shit off. And like, here you go. Or a zipper. I don't know. I really want to know how they did that so fucking fast. Or maybe that was like recorded earlier and sort of tie it in to make that happen. But anyway, Kane comes back. He comes out. He's the Demon Kane. He's walking with a limp. He stomps the limp out. He makes his way towards the fucking ring, and just beats the shit out of. He beats the shit out of Seth Rollins. Rollins hits him with the chair again. He no-sells the chair shot. Kane does, and then just beats the living shit out of Rollins. But he goes for the tombstone power driver, and Seth Rollins escapes. He leaves the belt behind, and fucking Kane holds it up. We get a Bray Wyatt promo in the back, and he accepts the challenge. He basically says, all right, if your boys are not going to be out there, then my boys aren't going to be out there. We noticed that the Buffalo Bills are in the building. They're coming off a win yesterday. And then we get the Bo Dallas Orton match of Bo Dallas Orton. And Bo Dallas spits a promo about, he introduces the Bills. And he's like, well, there's one thing lacking, and that's a Super Bowl trophy. Super heat. I never get tired of that. I'm glad they did that. Call out the fucking Bills, okay? Call out any team with any city you're in. That's always like wrestling gold, you know? And Buffalo's real sensitive about, like, you know, the fact that they don't have a Super Bowl trophy. They go 4 times in a row with Jim Kelly and them, and they still don't have one. They got a new coach in Rex Ryan, and they're looking good, but still, Buffalo is a very sensitive town when it comes to their football team. Okay, so you get this match with Randy Orton, and you know he's a showman. He got the crowd all riled up to the point where he brought Bo Dallas over to where some Bills players are sitting, and he fucks them up there as they're yelling at him, and then he's getting the crowd all whipped up, and he hits an RKO, and he wins. What's happening with Randy, I don't know. He's relegated to fighting squash matches with Bo Dallas, which is fine. They're well and good. I miss me a squash match every once in a while. But it was just a match. It doesn't really advance anything. We don't even know if he's still involved with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and all that shit. I mean, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. And basically, and also that was the only time in that segment earlier was the only time you got to see Ambrose. What do we get here? We get Rusev versus Owens with Ryback on commentary. What goes on here? Short match. Rusev throws. What is it? Who? Yeah, Owens throws Rusev into Ryback. Ryback attacks. Becomes a DQ. But then all of a sudden, Owens and Rusev team up and start stomping a mud hole. And Ryback, and I'm like, Rusev, you're an idiot, man. You're a real idiot. This guy has fucked you over like 3 times. You're in this match. You hate him. You done tossed him around a couple of times. And then all of a sudden, you just forget that this guy's an asshole to you to team up to stomp a mud hole in Ryback. I thought that was pretty funny. But Ziggler comes out for the save, and there you have it. I actually thought that this was going to be another fucking match. Tag team match. I was like, Lord, please, God, don't let this be a tag team match between Creepy Kane going through HR and booking matches. I mean, HR's done here, right? Even though he's the Demon Kane, he may as well just walk out as a fucking Demon Kane and set the match. But that didn't happen, thank God. Whatever. You get Heyman come out and he cuts a Madison Square Garden promo on the Big Show. Because what happened earlier? The Big Show, I don't even know if I wrote this down. But Big Show, after the KO punch, he cuts a promo on Brock Lesnar, and they show like some, them in the past and all that shit. Sorry, I forgot that. I just didn't care. This was the return promo. He calls Big Show bored. He says he's come complacent. Big Show comes out. He starts talking shit. And Paul Heyman storms out. Not one of his best promos at all. I mean, this is definitely not worth watching. We find out that SummerSlam for the next 2 years will be in Brooklyn. We find out that the 3-night NXT takeover, SummerSlam, and Monday Night Raw was such a success, it sold out each time, that they're going to do it again for the next 2 years. I hope to make it to one. I want to make it to at least the next year's. That would be pretty fun to go up to. Being as on the East Coast to save a little money, take old plane up. Hell, I'll probably even take the Chinatown bus. It'd be like $16. That'd be nothing just to go watch me some wrestling. Well, anyway, we get the main event. We get Bray Wyatt versus Reigns, and I'll be honest, guys, I tuned the fuck out. Bray Wyatt comes out with the homies, with Strowman and Harper, and Roman Reigns calls it out. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I thought you said you were coming up by yourself, bro. What the fuck, man? You tripping? Are you tripping? And Bray's like, I ain't tripping, man. Y'all get back to the back. And then they just fight. They do a fight. It actually ends. It ends in a double count out, and then all hell breaks loose, which results right at the very end. They're just fighting in the stands. Bray Wyatt has Roman Reigns down for a bit. He gets up on the fucking commentator's booth, and he's like, yeah, follow the buzzards. And one of those buzzards came and got him in the form of Roman Reigns and a spear that just collapses the announce table. Not the Spanish announce table. It's the regular one. I don't even think the Spanish announce table was there. But you get a whole bunch of censored out because you hear people cussing and stuff. They got it on delay. You hear a whole bunch of holy shits because they're tearing each other from limb to limb, knocking down barricades, and then that was like the icing on the cake of that thing. And I just go, I didn't care at all because I'm like, what? You got a double count out, no one wins. Okay, now like let's just tear the place up. And I'm like, that's the part what I was saying in the beginning of this, where it's like they were just reaching, like really trying to give you like a show. And I just go, all right, you gave me a show, but all right, I guess. Good job. But yeah, that's Raw. That's how Raw ends, with them just laid out. So again, like I said, it was a show they tried to do some things. The return of the Cena Open Challenge. New Day get a victory. We still don't know if Paige is out of PCB or what. We get a lot of Brock, Big Show stuff. And then this storyline between Kane and Seth Rollins and Ashley, who was pretty cute. Right, what's up, Ashley? Was really good. Was really good. But yeah, if the discussion between me and Jake, I have this show called Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. That's Wednesday. This is the Peter's Raw recap. Just going over and just talking to you directly right after Raw. But Wednesday, we have Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. Jake Grande from Faster Than the World Podcast. If you've ever heard it yet, just type in Faster Than the World Podcast on SoundCloud. It's on SoundCloud. And we will discuss Raw, front to back, how we feel about things. Discussion's always nice. Earlier today, I recorded a podcast, the New Day podcast. Every Monday is me and Nathan Newman, again from Eyes on the Ring Radio, Elite Podcast Network. And we discussed today, I think we discussed a couple of topics. We always end up talking about the Divas division, both NXT and WWE's. We talk a little bit about. We haven't talked yet since Night of Champions, so we talked a little about that. We talk a little about ROH, and so on and so forth. We talk about Undertaker. We talk about Sting and his injury, and so on and so forth. So if you got nothing to do, go back a video. Just go back one video. It's an audio format on YouTube. Peter Raw Recap is a YouTube exclusive, so this is not on SoundCloud. So, just go back and check that out. And hell, if you haven't even checked out Peter Talks SmackDown from last week, go back and check that out. And Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling from last week, where we review both Night of Champions and Raw from Laredo, Texas. I think that's episode 57. Yeah, I think that's episode 57. The New Day podcast, this was episode 11. And then Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling 58 will be this Wednesday. And then episode 31 of Peter Talks SmackDown will be this Friday or Saturday, depends, because I started DJing again on Thursday nights, and that's a bit of a drag. But I'm getting that money. So do yourself a favor, man. Hit that subscription button below. Add me. If you want a thumbs up, that'd be great. Hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment. And subscribe. And if you're interested to hear more from YouTube, you say you're on the go. The Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling podcast, Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling Central. You can go to SoundCloud. You can type in Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. That's Y. What the fuck am I? I'm tired. WRASSLIN '. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling. SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and even if you have a Tumblr account. So go and check that shit out again. Share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. If you enjoy this, let others know about it. Let others know. Don't keep it a secret. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be like a squirrel with a nut. Now I'm tripping. Do yourself a favor, guys. Do all that shit I just said. And watch out for those foreign objects. You'll be hearing from me this Wednesday. Peter and Jake Talks Wrestling, episode 58. 58.